Good morning. Welcome to the County Board meeting. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Commissioner Coring,
Here.
Commissioner Lubke,
Here.
Commissioner Barrows,
Here.
Commissioner Franzine,
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Open forum. You'll have 3 minutes to speak on the item that is not on the agenda. Kathleen Dykoff.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Caitlin Dykoff, and I am a recent resident of Crow Wing County, and I've been here for about a year and a half. I'm an EMT with the local ambulance, and I am soon to be wife of one of the sheriff's deputies. For legal purposes, I must state that the views I express today are my own. While I am a servant of this community, I am also the granddaughter of an immigrant. My grandmother arrived at this country under complex circumstances, brought here by my grandfather who served our country overseas, and arriving in a place where she didn't know the systems, the language, or what her future would hold. After her divorce, she worked her way through the long, expensive, and confusing path of citizenship, studying for a test that many of us in this room may not pass. I remember her sitting at the table, flipping through flashcards, practicing questions about US history and government, determined to earn her place here the right way. And she did. And then she went on to earn her nursing license and spent her life caring for others. In the past few months, I have felt a fear I would not wish on anyone. I feared for my grandmother, for my father, and my siblings. And while I may appear white in the winter, not everyone in my family does. And I lived with the fear that someone I love could be taken, or that I could. And I'm not alone. I watched my ambulance colleagues wonder whether someone might try to take a patient from our care. I watched small business owners close their doors out of fear, and I've seen people in our community afraid to leave their homes, even for groceries. And these fears are not unfounded. Over 170 US citizens have been detained this year alone. People have been deported to countries they've never known. Individuals that are here legally with no criminal record are being held, including in our own jail. You've heard about the woman from Apple Valley who was wrongfully detained in our jail for 2 weeks. And I've read the ISGA agreement. It's for 20 beds specified for men only, and yet she was here with more than 30 detainees. So I ask you, who is paying for the overflow? Who is paying for those held outside of this agreement? Who will pay for the legal action when it comes? Because it likely will. Counties like Freeborn are already being sued by their own taxpayers, along with the ACLU. There are hundreds of lawsuits across the country being tied to these agreements, costing taxpayers millions of dollars. The ACLU of Minnesota has stated clearly, these agreements do not shield you from legal liability. So who will bear that cost? Us, the local taxpayers? And how long will we allow a federal agency to exceed what we've agreed upon without accountability or compensation? How long will we let a government organization take advantage of the few resources that we have? At what point do we say enough? And to our sheriff, I ask directly, how long will you allow state and county laws to be bent or broken before you act? Commissioners, I ask of you, for the very least for your constituents, to put these agreements for public discussion.
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jane Brecken.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jane Brecken. I am a long-term Crow Wing County resident. I live on Donaldson Road, unorganized territory. I have a commitment to advocate for people on the margins that can't advocate for themselves, and today that involves the immigrants that live here in our county. I'm here because there's been a partial government shutdown around this issue of ICE and their unlawful and questionable tactics around how we detain our immigrants. And so I'm here to, ask 3 questions of you commissioners to consider in as you're looking at and this process of 287G and IGSA agreements unfold here. And I see it as an unfolding. We can always turn back and do it differently. And I ask that in my questions. It's suffice it to say that the federal law enforcement has, really eroded our trust. And I want trust back here, not just federally, but on a county level as well. So these 3 questions involve the data that must be out there somewhere regarding the numbers of detainees arrested and jailed here in Crow Wing County since signing this agreement. Are there some financials? Are there some numbers in terms of crimes committed by these detainees? Just specifics around this agreement and how it has impacted our county since this agreement's been signed. If so, can the taxpayers be informed? Is there transparency is my question around this. The second question is, has the board taken a good look and considered the Minnesota Attorney General's opinion in December of 2025 stating that county boards must approve these agreements? Have the board members read this long opinion and discussed this opinion on any level, individually or as a board? What is our liability, and why would we not take into consideration what the Attorney General is saying, just in terms of the legality? The third question is, of the 87 counties here in the state of Minnesota, only 7 have signed these agreements. Has the board individually or as a collective spent any time looking at why such a low percentage? And are we able to comply with federal statutes without?
Your 3 minutes are up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Patrick McDermott.
Good morning, I'm back again.
You have 3 minutes.
Well, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I interviewed most of you before about owning and riding an ATV trail and approving an ATV trail on a public roadway on Miller Lake Road. And you guys said Mr. Burrows was going to contact the ATV club. I don't know why, but did the attorney leave? I wanted to address her about this. Because what happened when you guys approved of that trail behind my house on my cul-de-sac and created a very unsafe condition where they made a 90-degree turn and they dug 17-inch deep ruts, and my ambulance that picked me up from a stroke was going to inject the clot buster vein, whatever they do. And what they did, they violated the law by creating that ditch for the ambulance they hit. And the ambulance's personnel was in the back of the ambulance, was putting the injection, and they hit that 17-inch dip. And she bounced over the top of me, and the needle went straight into my elbow. So she had to start it all over, and so that created a very unsafe condition. And the only way you can get rid of that is take that ATV trail off of that roadway and put it on the other side of the wetland. And Mr. Lee says we can't do that because that's state land. It doesn't matter, it's the ATV club that's, maintains that trail. So they should be able to move it. And if you want a fatality, that's a good way to create a fatality. Used by ambulances. My 95-year-old mother-in-law next door, she's had several trips into the clinic via ambulance, and they keep hitting that thing. You gotta wait for somebody to die to take action. I don't think you should have to. I think it should be rubber stamped, move the trail. And by putting the trail there and creating that ditch, she violated the law, because the law is to don't pile snow on top of a road, public roadway. Tim Bray can probably want to get him involved, but he knows about roadways, and they violated the law, and your former attorney approved it, had to approve it. Everybody voted on it. So move the trail. You don't have to eliminate, just move the trail.
Thank you, Mr. McDermott. Your 3 minutes are up.
That was quick.
Thank you.
I promise I won't slam the door anymore.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item, review and approval of the minutes of the March 24th board meeting and the amended minutes of the February 24th board meeting.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Lubke, second by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Barros.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzen.
Aye, motion carries. Review and approve the agenda.
No changes, Madam Chair.
Can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve today's agenda.
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Commissioner Barros,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzen.
Aye, motion carries. Consent agenda. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, if there's no questions, I would make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I will second that, Madam Chair.
We have a motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor?
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Barros,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzen.
Aye, motion carries. Northland Reliability Project Update.
Cody, you can come up to the table if you'd like.
Oh, you want me to come to the table? Okay. I also have hard copies of the presentation too, if you guys would like them. My name is Brian Hunker. I'm with Great River Energy, and I have Cody Dirks here from JCG Land Services, as well as Mike Putney with Minnesota Power back there. We're going to provide an overview of the Northland Reliability Project, and then we'll get into some specific discussions about Crow Wing County and the project. So the Northland Reliability Project is a new high-voltage transmission line, and it's proposed jointly by Great River Energy and Minnesota Power. It's roughly 180 miles long. It extends basically from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, down towards Becker and the Sherco area. So we, if you could flip to the next slide, please, or do I do that? Okay, great. So this is a map of our project. We have started on the south end of the project, as shown in green, and that is a rebuild of two existing transmission lines that are both roughly 20 miles long. One extends from the Sherco plant up to the existing Benton County substation. The second line is a rebuild of our existing 230 kV line that goes from the new Big Oak substation that's proposed under the Alexandria to Big Oaks project. And that also extends up to Benton County Substation. The Benton County Substation is being expanded into a new substation called Cherry Park. All of that work is under construction right now. Phase 2 of the project extends from the Cherry Park substation north to the Cuyuna Series Compensation Station, which is just right outside of Crosby there. And work on that line is anticipated to begin this September of 2026. Don't quite know yet if we're going to break out and have one crew starting down at Cherry Park working north, or if we're going to have one crew at Cherry Park working north and a second crew starting in the what we call the Crosby Cuyuna area. Within that area, there's a large amount of existing transmission that is also going to be rebuilt. So some of those rebuilds and realignments may be started here in September, October, so fall of 2026. Phase 3 of the project is going to begin in 27, and that extends from the Cuyuna area north to the Iron Range substation, which is right outside of Grand Rapids. The Iron Range substation work is going to begin their grading work, civil work, this summer of 26, and the Cuyuna Series Compensation Station work is going to begin there this summer of 2026 as well. Just on the south side of Little Rabbit Lake, there are 2 existing substations. One is called the Riverton 115 kV sub. The second one is called the Riverton 230 kV sub. That Riverton 115 sub is going to be dismantled, and that work is underway right now. And that substation is going to be rebuilt within the existing Riverton 230 kV sub station. Slide here. This is a snapshot of our Benton County Cherry Park substation. So in the background there, the existing sub is the Benton County sub. In the foreground is our Cherry Park substation that's getting built. This is down again near, right outside of St. Cloud in that Sherco area. But this is kind of a nice view of what is going to happen in the Cuyuna Series Compensation Station area. And right now we're currently underway with some of the engineering design, finishing up that services. And much of the real estate work is already in progress. What happens after we get our design services is we start figuring out our disturbance areas. We work on permitting with DNR, local, county, and townships, as well as we'll begin some of the pre-construction activities, which is staking of the right-of-way, staking of the structure locations, as well as installing sediment and erosion control BMPs. And then the last step there is the beginning of construction. So staking will probably be in that September timeframe. Some of the construction services will begin shortly after that in September, October. Within Crow Wing County and other areas of Phase 2, our easement process is well underway. We are staking those structure locations, staking of the right-of-way. That allows us to develop our easement exhibits. And then we present those to the landowners and we finalize the easement documents. So within, once construction starts, some of the common things that people will see will be lighting there'll be lighting, some noise, some dust. You'll often see trucks on the roads, so that could be anything from a pickup truck to an 18-wheeled semi moving in our structures. Bodies, as well as like concrete vehicles. Much of the work is going to occur Monday through Saturday from roughly 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., as well as they'll see tree removal, and so that would be cutting of trees and then hauling of the trees themselves. You'll see erosion sediment control measures out there, as well as matting. We plan to mat the majority of our right-of-way as well as the work areas, and those will be wooden or composite mats. And then there might be some temporary road closures or lane closures as we're pulling the conductor over a road surface. And then you'll notice signage and traffic management, especially as we have an entrance to our right-of-way that comes off of an existing township or county road. So I'm going to flip back to that map. Specifically within Crow Wing County here, you can see roughly that phase 2 of the project covers, I'll just say, the southern part of the county. Phase 3 is the northern part of the county. So our series compensation station nearly breaks it in half. So that's an important component, and all of the items that we're going to talk about are going to occur in 2 phases again. So the southern part is going to occur in phase 2, northern part's going to occur in phase 3. Discussed how construction at Cuyuna is going to be starting here this summer. The Riverton station is already underway. We are currently working with the land department here for easements and easement requests. So right now we're going to stake the right-of-way. That will provide us the information to develop the easement exhibits, as well as we are working with a land appraiser to figure out the value and the compensation of the land. And we're going to present those easement requests to the county for their review. That process will probably start here in mid-May and extend into June. And again, that's only going to be for the phase 2 portion of it. The phase 3 will occur probably about a year from now. And then we'll work with your permitting entities for the road crossings, as well as access from like an existing county road onto the right-of-way, as well as road use agreements. So right now we're figuring out the exact roads we're going to use, developing maps, and we'll have those conversations. So that would be for existing roads, and then also with your forestry department as well. And the last item I just want to discuss is we are looking for laydown yards within this area. Right now our focus is on existing gravel pits. And once we figure out what those locations are, then we'll come and work with you guys on a conditional use permit, as well as any access or roads that might be needed into that laydown yard. I'll flip to the last slide here. So we do, of course, want to continue our project communications. We do have a project email set up, a project website, a hotline that anybody can come and take a look at our information on there. We do have an interactive construction map that shows the specific structure sites and what phase of construction they're in. So whether they're in planning, so they're going to be developed in the next 3 weeks, whether their foundation is getting poured, structure is getting set, or of course line stringing. We do have plans to continue to come and present to the county board, as well as we do have periodic newsletters that come out, and we have our land rights team that will come and connect with landowners. And all that information is right here as well. So that concludes the presentation. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair?
Madam Chair.
You'll be next, Commissioner Coring.
Okay, thank you.
Not really a question at this point, but more of a comment. Just, I would ask that you please just continue to communicate well with the property owners that you're working with on these easements and the sales. Obviously, this is almost all within my district, and this has been an issue of, I wouldn't say contention, but nervousness and apprehension. So that would be my ask, is that you just continue to work well with the landowners and keep them in the loop. So
absolutely.
thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Coring.
Madam Chair, thank you. The only thing is just if you could leave the card of the main contact for this project. So if I have a constituent, the line goes actually all the way through my district. I'm having a hard time remembering the first fellow that gave Commissioner Hogue and myself a very detailed explanation of the project. I had his direct number, but I want to have a contact person in case I have some constituents call with some concerns. I don't want to have to go through a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo to get to somebody. I want to have the main contact person. If you could leave your card with the county administrator, that would be good, and I can get that when I return.
Absolutely. We do have two contacts right here as well with their direct email addresses and phone numbers. And I'd be happy to leave mine if needed.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, community services.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Morning, Madam Chair, County Board. Kara Terry, Community Services.
Tammy Loic, Adult Services Manager.
All right, I have 3 items for you today. The first is around, just making sure, yes, we're on the same page. Sourcewell Community Impact Fund application. So Crow Wing County Community Services did submit a tentative grant application to Sourcewell for community impact funds, but of course need your approval and a request for board action approving that application. Funding will be twofold. $100,000 is the request for a 2-part project. The first would be the implementation of EVA, which is an AI-enabled, secure, multilingual, ADA-compliant virtual phone assistant that's hosted by TIPCO. EVA will provide 24/7 access to screening, resource navigation, crisis and service pathways, and real-time information for Crow Wing County residents. The tool will reduce after-hours barriers, streamline general inquiry calls, support improved referrals, and enhance our data planning. The grant funding request for this first component is $55,500 of the $100,000. The second component of this request, and we'll talk more about it in our next agenda item, is to fund a shared MnChoices assessor position between Crow Wing County and Aiken County. The model of a shared position will add capacity for the assessors to be able to complete MnChoices assessments more timely, to reduce the wait times, and ensure individuals who require higher touch assistance receive that timely follow-up and support. The request for this position would be $45,500 of the $100,000 that we're requesting from Sourcewell. We can go over the goals of the MnChoices shared position with the next agenda item if you would so choose. Basically, community services would be the project lead, the fiscal host, and work through the procurement and compliance for the EVA piece. Aiken County will be responsible for the full-time position, hosting that full-time position and sharing it 0.5 with us. So today we're asking for a request for board action to approve community services to apply for Sourcewell impact funding in the amount of $100,000.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Question, you're going to apply for the grant. It sounds like you're assured of the grant. Grants, sometimes you apply for a grant, you don't necessarily get the grant, but are you assured that you're going to get the grant? That's the first question.
Well, it's my understanding, Commissioner, that the grant has to go through the approval process for Sourcewell. We have talked with representatives from Sourcewell regarding this grant application because it was supposed to be turned in. It was turned in timely, but we were missing the piece on the RBA. So in our discussion with Sourcewell, we let them know that we hope that that RBA will be coming. I cannot say for certain that we will get the grant. However, we have a pretty strong grant application.
So then, Madam Chair, so if you have not been approved for the grant, the second portion here, the shared position, if you don't get the grant, I mean, if that's approved today, if you don't get the grant, then you can't go forward with that, correct?
Well, in terms of the other request for board action to approve the shared position with Aiken County, I don't know if you want to jump to that, Madam Chair, if you want me to answer questions
Yes,
specific
please.
to that? Okay, so
Go together.
the second request for board action is related to the shared position with Aiken County. And if we are not approved the Sourcewell grant in the amount of $45,500, you can see on the third page of our request for board action that we have savings through the PFML work or leaves that our staff have taken. So we have additional savings there. And we've also been working with temp staff to complete this work. So we would have the temp staffing costs to be able to go to this position as well. There would be no fiscal impact to our budget with this shared position. We do have the monies in our existing budget to pay for it.
And Madam Chair, another question. So on going back to the first one, the tool, if you get the grant and you get this tool, obviously to help streamline things, so then what is the ongoing, is there ongoing costs? And if there are ongoing costs, I would assume there's an initial startup cost. And then would there be ongoing costs every year then for this particular tool that you're talking about?
Commissioner, there will be ongoing costs related to the tool. However, this first year will really be a trial run. So if the tool does not work out for us, if we find that it doesn't make things easier on our clients or your constituents, we will not continue with this tool. There are other counties that have implemented this tool. You may have read about in the paper. So we are one of several that are implementing, and we've been able to get on board after some of the kinks have been worked out with other counties. So we're asking for this dollar amount if, well, we will plan on it being part of our process through the additional budget planning, but this dollar amount that we're asking for through Sourcewell will give us this trial period to see how things work.
No further questions, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair. Excuse me. So when we spoke about this in Budget Committee, the temporary position that's currently doing this, how is that funded now? How has it been funded up to this point?
So within our annual budget, we do have some dollars that we've set aside for temping, and that typically it comes from, I don't want to say exactly where it's made up, but it's within our annual budget right now, those temping dollars. But we are running over, so like in this particular team, we've had 3 people out on leave in the first quarter, and we expended $17,000 approximately. So, but that's already been built into our approved budget. It's just that we can't continue to temp because that's an area where we're running out of funds, but it also hasn't been very successful. And I think I spoke to that last week about, we have a lot of churn in that. People that do Min Choices assessments have to be certified assessors, so they have to be, go through that certification in their training. And so it's been really difficult. And I would say we've tried that for the last few years. And so it feels like we're just bringing somebody in, getting them used to our system, and then getting them out there to do assessments, and we're really just not getting a return on investment in that area. So I think this position would help us that we'd know we have a 0.5. They would be a certified assessor. It's a full-time position for the person that takes the position. They'd be covering 2 counties, and I think we'd have more stability and success with this type of shared position with Aiken County.
Okay. And this grant is obviously a one-time grant, and I'm assuming this 45.5 that would go to this second component is going to cover the first year. The position is a 2-year. How do you propose we're going to pay for the second year?
So the grant that we get through Sourcewell starts July 1st and goes through June of next year. So it would really allow us to put some of these dollars towards next year if we are awarded that grant. We know that we have the leave of absence savings this year to help support it this year as we move forward. So we potentially could be dedicating these dollars to that. I don't know about upcoming leaves. I know within this team I have another leave towards fall. So we would potentially have this happening again in the fall with the potential savings at that time.
How long have we been using a temp in this position?
I would say 3 years. We've been trying to use temps at various times when we've had people either out on leaves or, just as we've been able to. It's not easy for us to get a temp in this area because it tends to be somebody that maybe either worked for us or worked for someone in this type of positions because they have to have that certification. Some of them have gone back to school, people that have and/or retired, and then they come back and they want to work pretty minimal part-time hours, and that's what's made this difficult.
And in addition, I'll just say that we've tried many different solutions to this issue. We've trained some folks in our housing team to be able to respond to those requests for assessments that need to occur within 24 hours. So she's taking some time out of her day and her work with the housing stuff to go to the hospital and do an assessment, for example. We've shifted a position from our 65-plus team because they had a bit of a reduction in the caseloads. We've shifted that person to this team, and so we're really trying other opportunities, too, to fulfill this work. But the leaves, with those 3 folks out on leave, it's been very difficult to keep up with the work. This position, while it's a 2-year, will hopefully help us to catch up with our wait list, to get on top of it, and then be able to move forward when this position is done.
Commissioner Barrows?
Madam Chair, as most of you know, I sit on the board at Sourcewell. So to Commissioner Coring's question about funding and whether we're going to get this or not, Sourcewell allocates $500,000 to this fund. If you break it down, it's $100,000 per county, depending on their application. I know that your application is very strong. I know you've talked with Nancy, can't say Nancy's last name very well, so I won't attempt that. So I know that there's the great opportunity. It's probably a 99.9% chance of getting this grant or funding, so I am not afraid of whether we'll get it or not. I think there's a pretty good chance that we'll get it, or a very good chance we'll get it. And I will throw my 2 cents in to Nancy. I know that mental health is a priority for Sourcewell in the 5-county area, which I'm very proud of, that we're working with the counties to help mitigate some of the stress that we have in our counties. So I'm looking forward to this, but I do think that there's a very small chance that it won't be given to us. So just want to throw my 2 cents in there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions?
Yes, Madam Chair. What right now, if they don't get through this min-choice assessment, those people are waiting for services?
Yes.
And what is that wait time right now? I mean, what should you said 24 hours, so I'm sure if there's an emergency situation, you get them in as fast as you can. What is that wait time, and what should that wait time be? How backed up are we?
Right now, we're back to October. So we're...
What does that mean?
Yes, we have people waiting potentially 6 months, 5 to 6 months for these assessments. Obviously, we take the expedites, people that are in hospitals, potentially incarcerated, that are needing some sort of placement. We're going to make every effort to get that assessment done. That's why we expedite. That's why we have members on the team to try to go out and do an expedited case or assessment. But it is definitely creating barriers for people getting needed services. So if you are currently living in your home and you're looking for additional supports to come into the home, you are not, that's not a priority. And so we are going to try to get, you'll go in the order that that was received, but it would not be expedited.
So if something happened in my household where I needed to get onto a Min-Choice program, and I'd come to you and say, gee, I need to get on this because I need some help in this area, you'd say, well, we'll see you in 6 months?
Yep, we try to, yep.
Really?
Exactly.
Okay.
We tell them where we're at within the wait list. We've been making contacts with individuals. We just did a round of going out and, going and calling all of these individuals just to kind of see where they're at, how they're doing, if we can offer out any other kinds of resources while they wait for that assessment. Yeah, and the services that this is, evolves around is our all the way down to children, up to our older adults, so our over 65 that are needing either home and community-based waivered services and potentially what you know as PCA, which is now CFSS.
Yeah, another alphabet soup.
So personal care assistant, yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you.
One last question. Before we brought on temps for this 3 years ago, how far behind were we then?
We were not, I wouldn't say we were not behind like this. We started, really, that wait list started to grow probably about 3 years ago. And I think I talked about this last week too. There's been a new Min-Choices tool that's been put out that took a little time for us to adapt and get the training and get utilizing that and utilizing it effectively. And then I would say some of the leaves and turnover in the staff. And then CFSS, this PCA to CFSS, I think there's kind of another step in that process now. And so we have to do the assessment. It goes out to a consultation company, comes back in, we touch it again. So there's been some increased time that it takes for us to complete some of this work. And I think we are improving. I mean, definitely that tool now has been around for a couple of years. And so I think that is assisting where our numbers are back up where, we want them to be for our assessors. All the assessors have, if they're doing new assessments, we're requesting that they complete at least 10 assessments a month. If they're doing reassessments, that's 15 to 16, very comparable to other counties. We go out and we look at what other counties are doing, and we're right in with where the other counties are at with this as well. I think last week I was also asked if other counties are experiencing this, and they are, and I did speak to a few counties that are also experiencing this, and just like we are, for sure, metro counties, but also counties kind of similar in size to us.
Madam Chair, one more thing. These are mandated services, correct? The state and the feds are telling us we have to do this.
Correct. They are mandated services, and we are currently not meeting the required timeline.
And they can change requirements at any time, which adds potentially another burden onto our staff without any kind of reimbursement. Madam Chair, if there's no other questions, I would make the motion to approve the community services request to apply for the Sourcewell Community Impact Funding in the amount of $100,000.
Madam Chair, I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Barrows, second from Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor?
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, next agenda item is the Community Services Shared Position with Aiken County. I'm not sure how much more you want us to go into detail with this position. I will note that the shared position agreement is currently with the county attorney for her review, and she's talking to the Aiken County attorney. So they're working through the legalese of the agreement should we choose to pursue this option.
Any questions?
Madam Chair, if there are no other questions, I would make the motion.
We have.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Not a question, just a comment. This concerns me a little bit. I'm going to support it, but I want to make sure that we are very, very diligent about monitoring its success or failure. I don't believe that this hang-up is on our staff. This is, as we've talked about in Budget Committee, this is based off the state's new requirements. And ultimately, we have to pay the price for it. Granted, this is going to be grant money coming in. But if that grant money dries up and we're left holding the bag, I'm not going to support it in the future, so.
Madam Chair, that is loud. To Commissioner Lee's point, perhaps there's an opportunity for your team to bring back updates on how the wait list is being cleared, what the timeframes have been, perhaps every few months, to give you an idea of what the success of the position is, as well as the hours that are being spent and verifying that information for the board.
We can certainly do that. We will be coming to the Committee of the Whole to talk about the LTSS work that Morgan has been doing with the state. And so at that time, we can provide an update. Hopefully Aiken will have the position hired by then. Not that we'll see a huge impact to our wait list by that time, but we'll certainly be bringing information forward on that, as well as all the LTSS stuff for your review.
What does that mean? What is that acronym?
Long-term services and supports. Yes. LTSS, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the group that's been working, Morgan Althouse is a part of that, with AMC, MAXA, and the DHS to look at ways that we can reduce the timelines, the budget in this area for the state, and so trying to come up with those key ways that we can maybe make some of those changes, because it's continuing to be a very daunting process for consumers and even, and for our staff as well.
And this shared position is only if we get the Sourcewell grant?
So we do have savings that are from the leaves that we have experienced. If you look at the third page of our request for board action, you can see that right now the adult team has personnel savings. We're under budget by $43,637, and all social services salaries are under budget by $102,152. This was as of last week. And those are in regard to the leave of absences and the vacancies that we've had. So we have the funding to cover within our budget if we're not allowed the grant.
Okay. Not only do I want to know how much work is being done, I want to know where the money stands.
Okay, sure.
So if we can somehow put that into the... Any other questions?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Madam Chair, if somehow, Kara, if you could provide, you talk about this wait list and somebody's been waiting 6 months. I don't know if there's HIPAA laws or something has to be redacted, but if I could see this list, not that I don't trust you, I just have to verify. I think it's my job as oversight to make sure that this list exists and how many people are on it. At least if you can provide me with some of that information, that would be great.
We sure can, Commissioner, and if you'd like some of the stories behind the people too. Sometimes the wait list doesn't say everything about what it is that the folks are needing. So if you want more information too, we're happy to come and share more about it too. There are rules around data practices and HIPAA and all of that stuff. So we wouldn't be able to share it publicly, but we'd be able to share some information with you as a board.
And please share it with all of us.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if there's no other questions or concerns, I would make the motion to approve the shared position between Crow Wing County Community Services and Aiken County Social Services, subject to review by the county attorney.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor?
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
No.
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. The final item I have for you today is a request for opioid funding. Our Blade Coalition Steering Committee met last week to discuss. We received a funding request from the Pequot Lakes High School Grad Blast Committee to support their Grad Blast event. They didn't ask for a specific dollar amount. However, they did note that they have 160 students who will be graduating. As I mentioned, the steering committee met on April 8th to discuss this request and approved an allocation of $200 for each school district or high school in Crow Wing County who provide grad blasts or similar graduation activities. So we're asking today for support for $200 for each of the participating Crow Wing County high schools to fund something to do with their grad blast parties. This could include Brainerd, ISD 181, Cross Lake, Crosby Ironton, Pequot, Lakes Region. We weren't sure if we were missing other schools in there, but those were the folks the list that we came up with. And then I'd also like to share, Commissioner Coring, you often talk about prevention efforts being used. So we see this $200 per school as a prevention effort, promoting BLADE and making healthy choices. But also we're doing a number of other preventative efforts within the school. April 8th, we were at the BHS Warrior Day, the BU Be Extraordinary. We participated in that. April 3rd, Pequot Lake Staff Development at their school. We did a presentation on cannabis and kratom and the impacts for that. We will be at the CLC Health Fair on the 15th, Community Focus on the 16th. There will be an article in the Dispatch related to healthy choices and BLADE on the 15th. We are hosting also a drug take-back day on April 25th at Super One in Brainerd from 10 until 2. We're doing this with Brainerd PD. And we've had interest from other police departments wanting to expand within their areas, specifically Baxter, and then some of the northern towns in Crow Wing County as well. We're thinking of providing a trophy for those police departments that collect the most, but we'll see. We'll see. We will also be at the Arboretum for ARB Day on May 2nd for proper disposal of vapes and the dangers with that. And then finally, we are in partnership with a couple local providers within the community for the Recovery Summit that will be held on June 30th at the Gitche Zibby. And a couple of our commissioners will hopefully be there to speak, Commissioners Lubke and Barrows. So basically, we ask for your approval to allow $200 per high school grad blast party.
Madam Chair, if there's no questions, I would.
I've got questions.
You have a
Madam
question?
Chair.
You got to be a little quicker with your.
With your pen.
I was just waiting for Commissioner Coring, but he didn't jump in, so. So is there going to be a BLADE representative at these schools? Is there anything in program involved with Grad Blast while this is going on?
For the Grad Blast parties specifically, we have not discussed that we would have a physical presence there, but we would be allocating the dollars. We have, my keychain is in my backpack, but we have some pretty cool keychains with BLADE on there, so we would provide that. And then utilizing our logo and any literature that we could share or put in maybe a Grad Blast information bag, we would do that as well. I don't know that we would have persons there from BLADE at the Grad Blast.
Okay, so your I guess take on this is that this meets the criteria as being preventative somehow? Is that right?
So promotional, number one, to get the word out on BLADE and what we do, but also the information that we share is around vape dangers, for example. And so sharing that information within the packets for the students, we feel is preventative in getting some of that information out there.
Madam Chair, if I might, it's interesting that you asked that question. It is part of the education process to address with the high school seniors. And we didn't at the steering committee talk about having a presence at these grad parties. I'll just throw this out there. Maybe next year we'll have each of us commissioners attend one of these as the representative for the BLADE effort. I'll smile while I say that.
Please do.
So
I don't want to commit any of you, but.
Well, I think we can definitely take that back to our group, and, I mean, like you said, it did come up. And
We do serve on the steering committee, so you can bring that request forward.
the reason why I bring that up is I have been involved with Grad Blasts, and I've been a donor for Grad Blast for many years, and I don't think this kind of meets our criteria, so I don't think I'm gonna be in support of it. It's a great program, but it's, for the kids, it's more of a end-of-year party and end-of-high-school party, and I don't see the connection that would make this a benefit for the program and for the Blade dollars, so.
As a steering committee member, Madam Chair, I would say that, you know, this is one of those evenings where it's important that we remind them to make good choices. A lot of times it's an evening when they don't make good choices, and I think we have to make the effort to encourage them to make those better choices in their life, so.
And I agree with that. That's why I asked, yeah, that's why I asked the question.
The keychain is going to do that.
I think anything that puts something out in front of them is better than nothing, is what I think. So that would be my reason for supporting this.
And that's why I asked the question about, you know, if we would have representatives there for this. You know, there's a lot of speakers that are part of the programs that have been in front of us before that have outstanding, that's what I'm looking for, testimonials about their recovery. I think something like that would be great to have a person like that at Grad Blast, but just to give them $200 for their party is not, to me, meeting the criteria. So if we do that in the future, I may get behind it.
Madam Chair, if there's no other concerns, I would make the motion to approve opiate funding in the amount of $200 for supporting Grad Blast parties at local Crow Wing County high schools.
Madam Chair, I'll definitely make a second on that.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor?
Commissioner Barrows.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
No.
Commissioner Coring.
No.
Commissioner Lubke.
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine.
No, motion fails.
Thank you.
County engineer.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I'm Tim Braid, County Engineer, and today I have before you our annual consideration of the 5-year Highway Improvement Plan. This is a follow-up to our last TAC meeting, our Q1 TAC meeting that was held on March 3rd, where we spent several hours talking about the Highway Department and this program that I'll walk through. Excuse me? The summary, please. I do have the full, so in the board packet I did for the public's consumption to make sure that they see the whole 52-page document, but I don't believe that we need to go through the 52-page document
We've already
today.
gone through it.
And you have, and we did. I think the slide deck at the Transportation Advisory Committee meeting was about 100 slides or so. But for the public's consumption, the full copy is on in the board packet. There's a cover page. It's our CASA 1 paving that we did this last year. Nick, let's see. Do I have control of this? Yes, I do. We'll start with the overall summary of the funding and then some of the other metrics behind this, or some numbers. The plan, and I'll show you the map in just a second, encompasses just about $80 million worth of total investment. That's actual construction, the engineering behind it, and some of the other things. It does include some of the partnerships that we have and the dollars that they contribute to some of these projects. Broken down further, it's about $8 million worth of federal funding that we've gotten through grants, some block grants that are available every year, and others are specialty grants. $28 million worth of county state aid funding. This is the gas tax, the little portion that Crow Wing County gets for from the gas tax that we all pay, and license fees and some of those other things that go into the highway user tax distribution fund. And I want to note the fourth bullet there, Crow Wing County levy, 0. This is the first time that's been zero, and we've been really working hard to do some leveraging to make sure we're maximizing the local options sales tax. And I think we're on the 14th year of a zero or negative levy at the road and bridge levy at the highway department. We're hoping to put together a proposal where that will change and we'll see some increases this year. But none of the money is going into the construction or engineering from the property tax levy, which is $2 million. So the good news is we're leveraging and maximizing these outside sources, and you can see the amount of work we're doing. The next one is the investment in the first assessment district, which is $2.8 million. This year we have a huge program, 6 miles for a township. That's extraordinarily large. And then the local option sales tax, which is our largest source now, total expenditures of $34 million. And then some bridge bonding. And then that partnership at $4.3 million is the contributions by local communities that latch onto our projects to realize some economy of scale savings. There's some of the grant pass-throughs that are in there too, so a good amount of local money is coming through us also. And the plan encompasses about 133 miles of total surface improvements, and it's broken down there through the different types of systems. And the last one there is 64 miles funded either fully or partially by the local option sales tax. So those are the roads that would likely not be able to do if the board had not passed the local option sales tax back in 2015. So we've done a lot of work with that. Very important. It includes the whole 5 years includes the installation of 4 roundabouts, 6 bridge replacements, and 3 bridge rehabs. So a lot of work going on. Here is a graphical summary of that, very color-coded by year. Lots of color, lots of good distribution amongst the districts. And here's even a further summary by year. The amount of mileage this year is one of the largest years we've had ever, 39 miles of resurfacing, improving that pavement quality. And one of the reasons why the board wanted to pass the local option sales tax to be able to attack that. Back then, we were deferring 150 miles per year. We knew they were bad, but we didn't have the money. So every year we weren't getting to the roadways to get them improved. And then it's just broken down by other years. I'll note that in 2030, it's what I call the out year. It's the last year of this planning cycle. That is low right now, but as we progress towards that over the years, we'll have more grant opportunities. We'll have a better site picture of the scoping needed and some of the pavement needs then. I expect that to grow. So it is low, but that will change over time. Just like the 39 miles when it first got into the program 5 years ago might have been really low too. And it has gotten to the point where those funding sources and the scopes are in place to increase that mileage. The next, the next slide, we always try to provide a summary of changes. And this kind of goes back to the promise that we all make to the public when we put it in the 5-year plan, or you put it in the 5-year plan. It's a promise to the public, and we've been delivering on that for years and years. And we want to make sure when we promise it here, and if it's adopted today, that is built in the year that was promised or sooner. And some of the significant, so we always try to track it here. Is there any movement, and by how much? There are a number of minor changes on here. There's a couple significant ones, fairly significant ones, and we did talk about these at the TAC. The first one is in 2027 program, so next year's program. We've been working with Eagle View Elementary School up in Commissioner Lupke's district. We've formed a partnership with the 2 cities and the township, and we've landed on an interim solution for some of their congestion problems there. We had some savings in some of our construction projects this year in bidding, and we were able to introduce a $200,000 interim solution instead of a $2 million roundabout solution. So we're going to try this 200,000. Hopefully that fixes the problem or makes it better instead of going to the larger roundabout later. So that was something that was inserted that has never been seen before except for at the TAC meeting, and we talked about it there. In 2028, is down in here. Earlier this year, or actually last year, we had met with MnDOT, and MnDOT had a community meeting in Deerwood talking about the improvement of Trunk Highway 6 and 210 in the vicinity of the junction of the Deerwood cutoff. Between then and now, they are introducing the concept of installing a roundabout, and so that would increase our cost participation. The previous project did not have as much or any cost participation from the county, so the potential of that roundabout that they're continuing to develop right at the intersection of 6, 210, and the Deerwood cutoff. If you think about Holiday gas station, and there's another business there, and to the south of the railroad, that's the location what we're talking about. So we introduced a concept of increased cost participation in 2028 for that. And the other significant change is down at the bottom, and this is a delay. Back in last year, and even in previous years, we've been talking about working with MnDOT to improve the intersection of CSAH 30 and Trunk Highway 6. This is the southerly connection, the south connection, south of the Bridge Tavern Bridge on Highway 6. We've been working closely with them on both the north and south intersection. We are well on our way to delivering it. Our design team is starting to work on the roundabout on the north side. We have not secured the funding with MnDOT yet and locked in a year. We're prepared to deliver it in 2029, but it is a partnership. It is certainly a trunk highway. It's the intersection of two CSAH roads. So we need the two funding sources to line up. So it will cause a delay. Officially on paper, we're continuing to try to move it up and get our resources aligned to still meet 2029. But it is a delay, not through anything that we've done wrong. It's just a timing of the finances. Those are the significant changes. Other ones are just minor things. And then I just break it down year by year. I don't want to spend too much time in just a little more detail. Beyond this year, 2026, a very robust year, 39 miles of resurfacing or reconstruction. We've already started Mapleton Road, County Road 170 is underway. Within the next couple weeks, we're going to be talking about taking the pavement off already and start really getting into it. It's fairly early construction season, which is good. Early beginning, early start, or early finish. So there's a list there. We got two bridges. One of them is in coordination with the township, Leisure Lane, and then also the Rabbit Lake Narrows Bridge north of Cuyuna is going. And then, of course, we are a partner with MnDOT's project on Washington Street. We will have some cost participation at the intersection of Mill Avenue and 210 where a roundabout will be installed. And then in 2027, I won't dive into each one of these in detail, but you can see that a good distribution. Part of our backbone of our county road system, County Road 3, is going to see a major surface improvement there, and then some other projects. 28, 29. Again, the detail of this is on the full version that for those who are watching in the full packet. These details are included in there as well. And here's 2030, which is that out year. It's very light, but we expect over time, as we understand the funding sources and the scopes of other projects, that this will grow. One thing I do want to note here is that for several years, we have been specifically setting aside money for the Mill Avenue Bridge. We knew that it is a big expenditure, and in 2030, we will be doing a rehab on that bridge. It's still not a point where it's going to be a replacement that is millions probably over 10 million or so dollars. So we're still saving for that. We did a study a few years ago that recommended a rehab first, and then after that, just let it go to the point where it needs to be reconstructed. So just want to talk about that because we've been saving some money for that, specifically for that project. Here is a summary of what we did in the last 5 years. So if you combine that with what I showed before, this is what the local option sales tax and our state aid dollars really has done, and it's made a significant impact on the roadway conditions in Crow Wing County, and people notice. Like, we get a lot of comments about how well our system is. And we always track the right quality in it, so we're measuring every year that roughness, and we're helping in the decision process to bring forward to you which one should be in the program in the coming 5 years. Here I always give a status of where we are compared to what we thought we were going to get to when the local option sales tax was adopted. We are on track. It does start, so just to orientate, the black line is what we thought we would get in terms of system mileage deferments. And up till about in 2027, it looks it's going to diverge a little bit from that goal. But again, we feel that we're going to get more mileage in those out years and it will come back towards the goal. I think we are right on track, even though it looks like a little above the line. But those are a couple years out, and we still have some things to discover in terms of getting projects in the program. Included this year graveling. So this year we're going to gravel portions of 132 and other southern gravel road systems. And we're on a 5-year cycle for all of those. And then, of course, the First Assessment District, kind of the same thing. Very robust program in the FAD this year, 6 miles. It includes Birchdale, Sinisam, Executive Acres, and also includes a partnership with Center Township to take on the east side of that. So they will be resurfacing their portion as well, all the way back towards, as far as it goes towards the river. And here's a breakdown of the mileage. And here's what we've done over the last 5 years. Again, lots of work in the First Assessment District. Just a reminder, it is not, local option sales tax is not available for the township level roads. The things that pay for these are the gas tax that they get, a very minimal amount, combined with their road and bridge levy. So still restricted on funding in terms of compared to the county, but still doing a lot compared to other townships, I would say. And we do look at the ride quality too to help the decision-making process and which ones need to be done. And then there's a graveling plan. There's only 4 miles of official, or 4 or 5 miles worth of official gravel in the First Assessment District, and here's our plan for that over the next 5 years. And the Second Assessment District, we're on, I think every 5 years, their whole system is done, and the next plan is to do it in 2029, so several years out. This is a large expenditure for them, and they have a low road and bridge levy that forces them to save up to be able to do this. And so 2029 is as soon as the next round. And then the local option sales tax just broken out, that mileage I talked about earlier. This encompasses that for the next 5 years. And what we've done over the last 5 years with the local option sales tax, the roads that likely would not have been able to do if the local option sales tax was not in place. Bridge priority list, I mentioned there are 6 bridges. This map represents the bridge priority list that you approved a few meetings ago, and it's an important milestone to make sure that these bridges within Crow Wing County, either on the township level or at the county level, are eligible for state and federal funding sources. They have to be endorsed by the board to be a priority. And that's all I have today. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair, oops.
Go right ahead.
Thank you.
I was trying to jump.
Tim, There was a, I don't know if it was a year ago or so, we put some money towards some work to be done on 29, 107, and 371.
Yes.
That I just came by it today on my way to work, and I could see cars on both sides on 29 and 107 looking at trying to get across that, I mean, gauntlet there, and I just didn't know. I see it's not on this plan at all. I didn't see it in there. Do you know if it does come up, can we insert that in there? Because that is, you know, that has had a few fatalities up there and stuff, so. Did I miss it?
Commissioner Luckey, I believe it should be in there, and maybe that. It's led by MnDOT, and so we didn't get it on our list, but I know that they have landed on a preferred alternative. They had some public meetings in
Right.
NISWA that you
Correct.
and I attended. I believe it's 27 or 28. They're committed to the funds, and they are going to do it.
I mean, we still have a part to play in that, don't we, or is that all state?
I think it'll be minimal cost share from the county because many of the improvements that they had landed on are within the MnDOT right-of-way.
Okay.
So maybe that's why it isn't included here. There's no cost share, but it's definitely happening.
Okay.
27, 28. I know that those that are interested in it can go to the MnDOT District 3 website. I know they have a specific page for that talks about it. And I think even at the TAC, I shared some of the graphics associated with that. At that MnDOT site, you can find those. It's
Okay.
definitely coming.
I
Thank you
just
for
want to make
asking.
sure that, make aware of it, that it wasn't in there. The other thing is I remember, when was the tax first put in? I shouldn't say tax, the user tax, the local option sales tax. What year is that when that was put in? Was that the first time?
It was adopted by the board in late 2015, and
Right.
and then it takes about 3 months to get set up and get normalized. And the first time that was implemented was, I believe, April 1st, the second quarter of 2016. And we've been
I
receiving
remember
payments since.
I was serving as mayor at that time, and I remember coming down and speaking towards it because I didn't see any other way that the county could even get anything done with the amount of that was going into the normal levy. I mean, right now, if you look at it, even if you say the local option sales tax, I think at the time when they were doing it, I can't remember if it was 40, 60, or what the split was between the taxpayers who live in Crow Wing County versus our guests and neighbors that come in and use, come into Crow Wing County and buy. But it was, so there's like $17 million, that we're looking at that would come in from outside that if we put it on our levy would just blow our levy right out of the water. So I really appreciate the fact that we were doing it. And I think it's a great tool in our toolbox to get these roads done. So thank you.
It has been a great tool, and that number that I shared before is that the property tax levy that goes to the highway department is we're not spending it on the roads because we have all these other sources. And if we didn't have that source, that number would be high, and certainly higher than it is. But along the way, every year of that 14 years, we would have had to come and ask for a levy increase. And so instead of 2 million or 1.9 million where we're at right now, I would anticipate that we'd be at 3, 4, 5 million, have at least requested, and still not have gotten to the point of what we've been able to deliver over the last 15 years or so, or not that long, 12 years.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Madam Chair, you made mention of the Highway 6 roundabout at County Road 30. How about Highway 6 and 11? Is that coordinating with our plan for County Road 11?
Yes, County Road 11 is in the works. Just a reminder, we have already partnered and secured the funds with MnDOT. Our design team has been collaborating with the MnDOT design team. They've landed on a roundabout, has always been the alternative. They did some of the preliminary work. Now they've turned that preliminary work over. They've gotten the layout approved by downtown MnDOT, I would say, the central office. And now they've turned that layout over to us that has been approved to our design team, which in Crow Wing County designers will be actually doing the plans. So that's well underway. We're not sure if that's going to work out the same way for the next one at Cassaw 30 on the south side of the bridge. But we're well underway. Our project manager, Jordan, is doing a great job with that, coordinating with the MnDOT project managers.
But that will happen at the same time that our 11 project happens? Or is it going to be a year later now?
Excuse me?
The actual intersection then of 6 and 11?
6 and 11 is scheduled for 2028.
28, okay. That was what my question was, because at one time we were talking about that being sooner than that, so. Yep. Okay, thanks. That's all I've got.
Any more questions? Can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the 26 through 2030 Highway Improvement Plan.
I will second it.
Motion by Commissioner Lubke, second by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay. Want us to wait? Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Continue on. She said, go ahead.
Okay. Commissioners, good morning. Chief Deputy Andy Bradley here with Fleet Manager Joe Lugsick. We have before you today a request from the sheriff for a budget amendment to purchase 2 vehicles that was not on our 2026 budget plan. Recently, we came into some unanticipated funds from the federal government here 2 weeks ago to help offset the cost of these 2 vehicles. Namely, the first vehicle is a 2001 GMC Savannah van that we use for transport vehicle. This vehicle is turned into a mechanical issue. It's consistently breaking down more so than we're utilizing it, so we like to replace it. It was slated to be replaced in 2028 for $93,500. We would like to replace it now utilizing these federal funds that we received recently. And we'd also like to purchase the second vehicle is a squad car as a spare vehicle to help us utilize the speed in which we can get a new squad car on the road when we have vehicles that get damaged and taken out of service. The last year or so, we've had several vehicles damaged while they were in use. I think last year we had 3 vehicles that were totaled, and the time frame it takes to replace those squad cars is up to 10 months. As you know, currently we're still working through a squad car that I was involved in an accident that was totaled out last September, and we just recently that vehicle is now ready for the road. That was 7 months later. So we're trying to speed up that timeline of getting vehicles back on the road for our police officers that are working the street and not have to put them in vehicles that are a risk for them to be operating at high speeds. Today I request the board's approval to amend the budget for the Sheriff's Department of 2026 to add these 2 vehicles to our fleet.
Questions? Have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Madam Chair, I would second that.
I like that.
Yeah, motion by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Coring. All those in favor?
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine.
Aye, motion carries. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
The county attorney online. Okay, county attorney.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I don't have anything for you this morning, but I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has of me.
Any questions? Thank you. County Administrator.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, I only have one item for you today, a senior management team update. We did meet yesterday and we heard some updates from our continuous improvement team on several projects that they have been working on, as well as some of the upcoming plans that they have for how the team will be assigning new projects to team members to make sure that all members are able to employ the tools that they are learning so that they can flex those muscles once they have gone through the training to become green belts and black belts, and that will in turn benefit the organization as well. We also reviewed a process to document grants on our website. There was a law change that occurred for any grants that are received after January 14th of 2026. There has to be a listing on our website of those grants. And we are discussing how to provide that information in the most efficient process without it taking up a whole lot of extra staff time to make that happen. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see that list be made available on our website there. And then finally, we discussed a new ongoing community endeavor as far as to tell our story. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that we had had conversations about how do we get the message of Crow Wing County out in the community. One of those ways is that Jory has worked with our local, the center, with the executive director of the center here in Brainerd to set up a monthly Crow Wing County coffee chat, if you will. So we will have folks that will be going over the first Wednesday of each month to kind of talk about just different topics of things that are happening at Crow Wing County and a way to help get that message out in the community. So that's one of our first endeavors that will be going down that path. That is all I have for you today, but I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have some for me.
Any questions? Thank you. Additional business?
Madam Chair, if nobody else has additional business, I do as normal. April 12th through the 18th is Public Safety Dispatch Recognition Week. I want to acknowledge them and the great job that they do. They are behind the scenes. We don't see them, but they really are the glue that keeps the communication process going in emergencies. I would encourage each of us commissioners to go on to SharePoint. There's an opportunity to recognize them there. I think that that's well deserved by that group. The second thing I have is that I want to announce that it's been a privilege to have served as the County Commissioner for District 3 and Crow Wing County as a whole. And having said that, I am officially announcing that I will not seek a third term. Thank you very much. And with that, I would make a motion to adjourn.
There's a second. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Barrows, second by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor?
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Coring,
Aye.
Commissioner Barrows,
Aye.
Commissioner Lubke,
Aye.
Commissioner Franzine.
Aye. Motion is